Hello, Sagittarius friends. I'm Annie Botticelli, and welcome to my Sagittarius June 2023 Astrology Horoscope Forecast. This is for you if Sagittarius is your sun sign, like me, or Sagittarius is your moon or rising or any other Sag placement that you're listening for. What we're going to talk about here is part of your astrological picture. And if you're a very late degree Sagittarius friend, like me also, so we'll say like 23 degrees of a Sagittarius placement through the rest of the sign, or birthdays around December 15th through the rest of the sign, I suggest you additionally listen to my Capricorn report, as you very late degree friends will benefit from both the Cap and Sag readings. I'm calling the theme of this month 9 reasons for Saggies to celebrate this month. And I'm so excited to share all of these things, as of course I am celebrating these with you, being a Sagittarius myself. Okay, so we're going to hit a couple of general transits of major note, and then we're going to dive right into our 9 reasons. The first thing to know is that we have slightly more sweet aspects compared to salty ones this month. I always call the inharmonious, kind of arguing planetary connections as salty. So we do have some of those. There'll be some, bumps from that. But we still have more sweet ones where the planets are agreeing and in a wonderful connection throughout the month. So we've got that to flavor this month, which is very exciting. We're also easing out of the heat of eclipse season. Those Taurus-Scorpio eclipse cycle that we've had since the end of 2021, that we just had another bout of, has been really tough on Sages. This has not been in a good angle for us. It's been very dramatic, very stressful and emotional for many of us. And although we do have some good news of the Aries Libra eclipse cycle starting to work its way in, because that's in a more favorable angle for us, no doubt April and May were pretty emotional, pretty stressful, pretty uncertain due to the eclipse heat and also the Mercury retrograde, kind of casting everything into uncertainty. So while we may get more news and more big events coming from those eclipses, even now in June, because the eclipse cycles, their season, tends to start before the actual eclipses and go until after the eclipses, the majority of the heat of the season, has passed. And now we're starting to have our nervous system calm down from that, having a little more certainty, a little more clarity as to how the changes that have come may be implemented and what we are to do. We've got an amazing opportunity from June 1st through June 19th, when we have the last open period free from personal planet retrogrades and their shadow periods for a while. So on June 19th, the pre-transit shadow period before Venus retrograde begins, and that whole Venus cycle lasts until into October. All right, and nothing to fear, and actually specifically for Sagittarius, that's one of the things we have to celebrate, which I'll get to soon, but it's just a different energy. It's inward and backward. It's the, after June 19th, we're diving back into being the spider, where we sit and wait for things to come to us and not do too much conjuring or trying to force things, where we're sort of the earthworm, where we go back over old ground as earthworms go back over soil, and they make it super fertile for present and future bounty. But from June 1st through 19th, that energy matches more of the Sagittarius style, which is go and flow and forward movement. And so we've got this nice window before we've got, until October of going inward and backward. We've got this open period of forward and outward. So it's a good time to make big decisions, have more clarity, make plans, gatherings, engagements, weddings, big purchases or sales. If you're trying to do a product launch or make a big decision for your business, moves, things like that. We're not going to talk much about Venus retro here, but just want to let you know that as of June 19th, we start to, feel those Venus retrograde energies. And I'll touch on it again later when we talk about one of the reasons to celebrate. But Venus rules so many different things: love and romance and relationships and money and finances and spending and budgeting and self-esteem and beauty and design and so much more. So it's a very all-encompassing sort of transit. And the more you know about it, the more you can make the most of it. And this is one of my areas of expertise. So if you search for Annie Botticelli Venus retrograde, find my video on YouTube. I also, if you go to anniehelpsyou.com, you can look for different blogs. I have a blog series, plus some additional random Venus retrograde blogs. And my book, Planetology, How to Align with the Natural Rhythms of the Universe, has a nice section on understanding and utilizing Venus retrogrades. So you can use all of those resources to really get yourself ready for what types of things we might be experiencing. But it's basically a deep dive inward and backward, and we get to experience blessings from the past and some challenges from the past to come up to be worked with, especially as it relates to love and beauty and money. Okay, so let's just get right into the 9 reasons for Sagittariuses to celebrate this month. The first is that not only Venus, but also Mars is going to be moving through fellow fire sign Leo. This is amazing. Every time we have a planet that goes through a fire sign, especially if it's a Leo or Aries transit, it makes a trine with our placement, which is the most fabulous aspect in all of astrology. So here we have not only Venus, but Mars in Leo making these beautiful aspects for us. And so that brings zest and creativity and love and romance and exciting things involving children and creative babies as well. And being in the limelight and having our work recognized and fun, like I call it the bucket list energy, doing things you've always wanted to do. And these planets are moving through the house of Sagittarius, which is the 9th house, which lights up international travel, writing and publishing and speaking, teaching, education programs that you take or that you offer, belief systems, ways of seeing things, viewpoints, positivity, optimism. All of that is accentuated at this time. So it's very exciting because we have a dip of this. Now Mars will pass through, but we still have those kisses from Mars into July. And for Venus, since Venus is going to go into retrograde in the sign of Leo, we have from now until into October of Venus ruling all of these things, love, beauty, money, all of this, in this beautiful angle for Sagittariuses for all of these months. So this is really exciting, and it does increase the odds that the blessings from the past will be more than the challenges from the past that this Venus retrograde brings up for us in this whole multi-month timeline of the retrograde cycle starting now. And before the retrograde energies brew, we have time of forward movement of Venus in Leo. So this is really something to celebrate. Venus and Mars in Leo, celebrating big time. That's the first reason to celebrate. Second reason to celebrate is Venus retrograde in Leo, where we've got the benefits of fellow fire sign giving us kisses in all of those areas that I mentioned from now into October. The number 3 reason for Saggies to celebrate this month and in this time period is that Chiron is in our fellow fire sign. And Chiron's been in Aries for a while and will be in Aries for a while, but any planets that are in those placements are still something to celebrate for the whole time. So this gives us opportunities to heal romantic wounds, heal anything involving if your kids need some help or support, or if you're trying to have a baby and you're investigating as to, why it's not happening yet. Anything having to do with you bringing your passion out into the world, anything having to do with you, any woundedness around you feeling like you can't have the things that you want in life. All of these types of things are the types of things that this aspect can help with. The number 4 thing for Saggies to celebrate this month is, and beyond, is financial expansion. So we've got a massive amount of planets in Taurus still. This was happening in May. This is still happening in June. Some of these are long-term planets, so this is going to go on well beyond now. But there is an extra concentration at this time. And Taurus energy rules money. It rules our income. It rules our power to earn. It rules our psychology around our financial experience. And so if you have anything challenged in those areas, this is an amazing time to find the holes in your, your security, your picture of security, and to mop them up, to clear them up, to fill them up, and get nice, sturdy, secure foundation in your financial sector. Jupiter's going to be in this sign for a whole year. So we've got a lot of support for finding and healing and creating financial expansion. And this is also happening. All of this Taurus energy is in the Sagittarius house of work or your daily experience. So there are two lines of energy of earning income, business expansion, getting material items that you've been wanting that have value to you. This can also have to do with anything having to do with the land or living with the land or sustainability or, your autonomy, basically. So your capacity to take care of yourself financially. Number 5 reason for Sagittarius to celebrate is this Taurus energy moving through the 6th house can also help your health goals to crystallize. I really like this word crystallize for this period of time because the energy of Taurus is very much like that. Earth energies really help to bring ideas, emotions, visions into tangible reality. And while we enjoy our things that happen on all of these, different layers of our multidimensional experience, it's really fun to bring things into the physical. And I do believe that's part of what we're doing here, right? We get to have this experience of taking things into, from a lesser seen realm and birthing them into the seen realm. So one of the areas that's being really strongly accentuated for physical manifestation is your physical body. So anything involving your health, your wellness, managing stress, has all of this Taurus energy, this discipline, this focus, this determination, this consistency to help you reach your health goals. And some of those health goals might be tremendously boosted by understanding genetics. I have been hot on the trail of how genetics and epigenetics can be affecting our health due to certain personal circumstances that I've walked through. And I've made some discoveries since I spoke to you last. So I've been talking about, this genetic and epigenetic series of factors for a long time. And I'm not going to stop talking about this because understanding genetics and epigenetics really is, the future of medicine. And the more we can get on board, the more quickly we can start to have positive healing results. And one thing I found, now I don't get any money from recommending this to you. This is just something that has been helpful to me, and you can find it. It's called Dirty Genes. It's a book by Dr. Ben Lynch. You can find it on Audible. You can find it in print form. I have it in both. So he basically outlines 7, the amount of genes or SNPs that they talk about that you can have, are really endless. And they're genetic potentials. But the activation of a genetic potential can manifest in symptoms and disease. So it can also manifest in positive personality traits as well. But looking into this might be part of how these health goals crystallize at this time, because he talks about 7 common genetic, basically dirty genes that people get that are dirty. He calls them dirty when they're not optimally functioning. So he explains how they get dirty, how to clean them up. So maybe there'll be something in this for you. Or you might have other ways this manifests. This is also the house of pets and animals. So there may be some things in your daily work, your daily routine, things like that. So there's a lot of energy and a lot of things crystallizing in that area. Okay, so the number 6 reason for Sagittarius to celebrate is all of this potential focus from the Taurus planets that will help you to manifest not only along the lines of the topics I've just discussed, but anything in life. If there's something tedious you need to do, if there's something that needs a lot of planning or strategizing, is there something that needs to be cleaned up? Like anything that you need powers of focus and persistence, which is not always the easiest thing for Sagittarius, right? And that's part of why I'm excited about it for us, because even though these Taurus placements can make a little bit of an awkward angle for us, we need this often to hem in our limitless viewpoint that we can do anything, and anything, we love options, right? But these Taurus energies are showing us how to take from the options, narrow them down, and put our power behind them. And this is really the big storyline of Jupiter, our ruling planet, being in Taurus for the next year, and all of these other Taurus placements, where this process of us picking our battles, right? Or picking the things of the infinite things that we can do, or even that we want to do, and start to really, really discern which things are we going to put the powers of our persistence, the powers of our financial investments, the powers of, all of our physical and tangible resources. What are the things we're going to put all of that power behind? And things will start to manifest pretty quickly once we rein in from all of the diverse things and getting our fingers in a lot of pudding pies and directing them down into these few things where we're going to put our focus into these, and watch how quickly things start to manifest when we do that. So I think it feels really good. It feels good for me. And I know many Sages, even though we don't like to be hemmed in, we don't like to be limited, we don't like to have to choose often. But this is a process of discernment. It's a short-term kind of boot camp, and it's a long-term process of applying discernment to different areas in our life that's going to make us much happier, much freer, much less stressed, much more productive, and much more on the path of living our dreams. Okay, so the number 7 reason for Sagittarius to celebrate at this time is all the Gemini placements. So we've got Mercury will be in Gemini, the Sun is in Gemini, star goddess Juno is in Gemini. We've got the new moon at 26 degrees of Gemini on June 18th. New beginnings in Gemini. So air energy is one that speaks our language. It's the language of movement. It's the language of ideas. It's the language of social connections. And all of those things are going to be very well lit up for us. So expect a lot of traveling, whether it's long distance or short distance, a lot of busyness, driving all over the place, talking to people, interacting with people, information sharing, information gathering, research. It's just going to be very busy with the kind of things that Saggies tend to love. Now, this also gets us exhausted. Remember, all of these Gemini energies are opposing our signs, so sometimes this can pull us in different directions. Our partners, our friends, our relationships need things. We need things. We're being pulled, in 2 different directions. And it can be exhausting, so we have to especially guard our respiratory system, especially guard your health just in general. The kind of things that happen from overdoing at this time, but enjoy the lighting up of our relationship space. Friendships and all of our relationships are going to be beautifully lit up by the warmth and vibrance of the sun, that new moon, new beginnings. Juno rules relationships as well. So it's just very much about connecting with other people at this time in very fulfilling and satisfying ways. And it also brings a nice balance from all of this Taurus energy. As much as we need that focus and that discernment, and I'm excited about that for us, it can be a little stodgy, right? If we don't also have this nice movement and changeability and variety that's rolling in to make things interesting for us. Okay, so the number 8 reason for Saggies to celebrate is this 7th house Gemini energy that I talked about, really relating to our relationships, combined with just having had this eclipse in Scorpio, which also rules deep relationships. So the chance for relationship karma to have been burnt off in April and May and into June is very high. So the combination of, the sun and these other planets lighting up the relationship space while just walking through the clearing up of negative karmic patterns in the relationship space can leave things to be freer and lighter in the relationship space. And this is also a great opportunity to find people who are perfect helpers for things we need, to help other people in a way that feels good, and just overall to have more satisfaction in our relationship space. And the number 9 reason for Saggies to celebrate this month is we have our full moon. Okay, so once, occasionally, twice, a year, we'll have a full moon in our sign. And this is the time when this happens for us. So the days around June 3rd, we've got a 13-degree full moon in Sagittarius. And that brings fullness, completion, fruition, drama, recognition, accomplishment to all things Sagittarius. So teaching, education, learning, travel, languages, international business, immigration, anything having to do with passports or connecting with people from different countries, our belief systems, organizing things in ways that give us peace. All of those things are coming to this beautiful culmination at this time, which can also result in travel. Or it can result in plans for future travel, or it can result in finding your perfect school program for something you want to learn, or launching your education program. If you're a Sagittarius and you're a teacher, this, between June 1st and 19th, maybe you're launching something that you're offering, and that's an amazing time to do that, especially around this full moon. Bringing something out might be a nice time to showcase. Now, everyone will feel the goodies and the potentials from this full moon. Sometimes full moons can bring dramas that are challenging, and that potential is there. It can be highly emotional. But regardless of whatever happens with it, we all have a chance to experience this. But those of us who are closest to 13 degrees will see even more notable, manifestations from this. So between 8 degrees and 18 degrees, the closer to 13 degrees, the more we get, some attention from that full moon. So that's basically going to be like the last few days of November. The closer to the first few days of December, the more, you're closer to 13 degrees. And that will extend even, into the first week of December for even stronger effects from that full moon. And that new moon on the 18th, the late degree friends will get even more notable outcomes from that. So if you're like 21 degrees through the rest of the sign, so like December 12th or so through the rest of the sign, and the closer you are to like December 17th or so, the more you get the impact from that new moon. But remember, nobody's left out of it. We just might see more notable things for those positions. Okay, well, if you love how I teach astrology and you want to learn more, you can join my free VIP community by going to anniehelpsyou.com. Sign up there. You'll get my very detailed written newsletter 1 month early about each upcoming month with notable aspects, how you might experience them, the general write-up of the month, plus special promos, free stuff, lots of goodies. If you think I give a lot away in my free public platforms, you should see the stuff that I give even more in my my email community. So you can join there at anniehelpsyou.com and see other ways to connect with me as well. Also, if you want to learn astrology, you can see my Becoming a Professional Astrologer Mastery Course. I can teach you how to make this your profession and earn money from it. And you can see that at anniehelpsyou.com, or you can go to beastropro.com, beastropro.com. All of these links are also in the notes underneath the video or podcast. I hope you have a wonderful month, and I'll see you next month. Bye.